single stream recycling and what that actually means, and maybe you can get into what single stream recycling means and what changes would occur compared to what somebody who wants to recycle now or is recycling now, what changes you'd see at the transfer station.
The beauty of single stream recycling is that you're allowed to put all the materials that are recyclable into the same container, and when you go to the landfill, you're going to place it into one container, so there's no sorting involved. It makes it easier for residents. They may still want to crush bottles, plastic bottles. They may want to still segregate to a degree before they bring it in so that they can put it in smaller containers. But once they get to the landfill, no matter what they've commingled will go into the same container. The town will still be paid for that recycled material, wherever the vendor is that we select that will eventually take that material. It usually goes to a facility where they have automated separation of paper, plastic, bottles, cans, and the like, and that's a very efficient operation. So
basically, rather than having me have to carry up a separate container for bottles and plastics and newspapers and my pizza box and this and that, I can just walk up and throw everything into one container, which I think is critical for this the pay-as-you-throw program to work. I think that my impression is, anyways, that people who may not be as willing to recycle don't do that because it's kind of a pain in the neck to go to the transfer station and run around to 4 or 5 different locations to throw your recyclables away, and then go actually to the transfer station itself and throw your trash away. What we're trying to do is make it as easy as possible to increase the amount of recycling that goes on in Merrimack. By doing that, obviously, and throwing everything into one container, you've made anybody who wants to come to the transfer station's life easier by recycling everything they possibly can and reducing the amount of recyclable materials that go into a trash bag. And that's where the volume of trash drastically is reduced, because rather than throwing your pizza box in or your newspapers or your bottles and cans and those types of things, you're throwing it into the single stream recycling, reducing it out of the waste stream and actually saving us a tremendous amount of money. We mentioned earlier on one of the slides, it costs us right now $60.20 a ton to dispose of a ton of trash in Merrimack. What we're hoping to do is take the majority of that trash, turn it into recyclables, and actually make about $20 a ton on that. So it's about an $80 per ton turnaround, or cost savings, you want to call it that, for each ton that we are able to pull out of the waste stream and place into the recycling program, which is a very significant amount of money. In addition to that, we're not having to transport as much trash over to Rochester, so we're saving money in the budget as well on transportation costs. The need to replace vehicles goes down because we're not traveling nearly as much as we were, or the distance we were. So it's a pretty significant change in the process that's going on right now, and that's the cost avoidance piece of it more than anything else. So the single stream recycling, in my mind, we tried to incorporate both of those at the same time, because if it's going to be more of a pain in the neck and have a fee associated with having to dispose of your trash, we want to make it as easy as we can to have that fee as little as possible. As we go down through some of these slides, we'll get to a slide where you'll see, and you see it right here, with the cost savings and cost avoidances from the transfer station. We're estimating, I think conservatively, just under an $800,000 annual cost avoidance, based on a variety of things. We've shown the cost avoidances of tipping fees. We've talked about those probably more than we need to today, reducing the waste stream by $361,000. But we're also, because right now we are bailing certain recyclable items, we're able to not have to bail those anymore because we can throw them all in one container. We save, again, small amount of money, $3,000, but there is a savings there, and the amount of bailing that's required on some of the items. And again, we talk about vehicle fuel, fewer trips, $11,500 in vehicle fuel that we'll be able to save. And then with the estimated revenues, obviously we've got the 15 to 20 gallon trash bags. We're proposing to sell at $1 a trash bag, and the 33 gallon trash bags we're looking to sell at $1.50 a trash bag. Currently, without this program, we'd have to raise another $800,000 in appropriations to pay for the operation of the transfer station. What we're looking to do here is, again, reduce the waste stream and have the people who are using that transfer station more than you know, maybe it's just a single person or a couple, pay their fair share to operate that transfer station. So yes, you're having to pay $1 or $1.50 a bag for the trash bags themselves, but you're saving a decent amount of money on your property taxes that will, that in some cases, again, depending on how much you throw, will more than offset for the cost of bags. If you've got a larger family or a larger household, obviously the amount of money you spend on bags may be more than your share of the $800,000 savings. But that $800,000 savings is just under 30 cents a thousand on your tax rate. So it's a significant amount of money, no question about it. We talk about single stream recycling. Here's a slide we can maybe go over really quickly, if you don't mind, Rick, just to let people know what single stream recycling is. A little bit more if there's anything you want to add to that.
One of the things that's interesting about the single stream recycling is that it takes much more material, and there's another slide we'll see later on that gives you an idea of what can be recycled. But they can be, it's free to the resident. They can bring as much recycled material as they can get in. If they have piles of cardboard after Christmas or after a party or whatever, they can bale it together or put it together and bring it to the landfill, put it in the single stream recycle container. We're looking at probably putting everything that gets recycled into the same trailer that gets hauled away. So we're reducing the amount of handling that we're going to have with this process. So that'll save us some time and energy doing that. We can pay more attention to other parts of the transfer station that we need to. It's going to make it easier, obviously quicker, and it will speed up. You know, right now when you go in on a Saturday, you see some lines at the recycle area because people have to stop, pull different buckets out, sort them. And sometimes they have their own mixed, mingle, or commingled material that they have to sort by bringing it to the different bins. So this way, it'll all go just into one.
We talk about the charges for the different types of trash bags, the two different size trash bags that we're proposing. When we made the presentation to the council a month or so ago, we wanted to obviously show our proposed cost for trash bags versus other communities. And as you can see here are some communities that have had pay-as-you-throw for a while now. The bottom one, Concord, is being proposed to be implemented, I believe, by July 1st, 2009, as is our program. As you can see, we're charging $1 for a 15 to 20 gallon bag, which is equal to the lowest amount of lowest charge on this particular graph. And the 33 gallon bag, our charge is the lowest on this graph. So again, if we were trying to break even in the cost of operating a transfer station, we could increase the cost of those bags. But what we're trying to do, I think, is just try to incite people to want to recycle and just try to reduce the waste stream as best we can, rather than trying to break even with the operation of this particular facility. You talk about some of the other recyclables that aren't accepted now that will be accepted if single stream recycling goes into effect. Maybe you can touch on what those are.
Right now, we only have a couple different types of plastic that we'll take. We'll take everything in the future from number 1 through number 7, so all 7 types of plastic. So when people look at materials that they have in their household, if it's stamped 1 through 7, they can bring it to the landfill. Right now, we don't accept junk mail and magazines, but those can also be brought in, and obviously people get a lot of junk mail, a lot of magazines that they don't use.
Sadly, we do.
And that material definitely is recyclable and will be accepted at the transfer station in the future.
That's great.